Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to decode the exact step-by-step roadmap to becoming a highly specialized ophthalmologist. If you've ever wondered what it actually takes to master the incredible complexities of the human eye, well, you are in the perfect place. We're not just going to rattle off a boring list of degrees here. We're breaking down the whole shebang. We'll dive into the specific personality traits you need, the rigorous educational gates you've got to pass through, the real financial costs of this path, and finally, what your day-to-day life and long-term career growth will actually look like. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll ask, is ophthalmology for you? Then, we're mapping the educational pathway, looking at financial costs and rewards, and wrapping up with daily work and growth. Let's jump right in.
All right, part one is ophthalmology for you.
At its core, an ophthalmologist isn't just a standard eye doctor you might pop in to see for a quick vision check. No, these are highly specialized medical professionals, trusted with both extensive eye care and delicate surgical procedures. And that word, surgical, is absolutely key here. I mean, think about it. You're dealing with one of the most complex, vital, and frankly fragile organs in the entire human body. The stakes are incredibly high, which is exactly why the training we're about to look at is so incredibly comprehensive. So, you gotta ask yourself, do you have the right wiring for this kind of work? You really need three core traits: a genuine love for science, a deep, deep interest in how the human body functions, and an absolute obsession with the details. Seriously, when you're operating on a human eye, a single millimeter makes a monumental difference. If you're naturally meticulous and scientifically curious, well, you've got the baseline foundation required to crush it in this field. Moving right along to Section 2, Mapping the Educational Pathway. All right, so this journey is completely sequential. It all kicks off at the 10+2 level, where you absolutely have to focus heavily on the science stream, specifically physics, chemistry, and biology. From there, you transition into the rigorous undergraduate degree, the MBBS. But hey, to become an ophthalmologist, that's literally just the beginning. Step 3 is where the magic or the true specialization actually happens. You're looking at completing your MD or MS in ophthalmology, which can then be followed up by further fellowships or a doctorate. Or, alternatively, you could pursue a diplomate in ophthalmology. It's a highly structured, multi-tiered journey, for sure. But, of course, you can't just walk into the next step without passing the gatekeepers. Here's a super clear breakdown of the specific entrance exams you'll need at each critical juncture. To get your foot in the door of that MBBS program, you need to conquer NEET, the National Eligibility Entrance Exam. Then, for your postgraduate studies, you're looking at NEET PG. And if you're really aiming for the stars with top-tier MD programs, you'll need to tackle NICET, which is the Institute of National Importance Combined Entrance Test. Think of these exams as highly competitive filters, making sure only the most dedicated students ever make it to the operating room.
Which brings us to Section 3, Financial Costs and Rewards.
Now let's talk numbers, because the initial investment is undeniably steep. The approximate course fees for your MD in ophthalmology can range anywhere from 3,05,000 rupees all the way up to a staggering 15 lakh rupees. This massive variance depends entirely on the specific institute you attend, like whether it's a government-funded college or private institution. It's a huge upfront cost that requires some very careful planning, and quite frankly, it might give you a little bit of sticker shock at first glance. But hang on, because here is the silver lining: the immediate return on that investment. Right out of the gate upon qualification, an ophthalmologist can expect an approximate starting salary ranging between 83,000 and 1,60,000 rupees per month. And keep in mind, these are just indicative starting numbers. As you gain experience, build a stellar reputation, or maybe even open your own private practice, your earning potential scales dramatically alongside your expertise. So, how do we bridge the gap between those steep course fees and your future income? Well, there are actually some really robust financial aid systems in place. On the scholarship side of things, the National Scholarship Portal is your go-to central hub for various government schemes, alongside merit-based scholarships directly from the institutes themselves. Now, if you need to finance through loans, the government and IBA-backed Vijaya Lakshmi portal is an absolute game changer. Plus, several states like West Bengal, Odisha, and Bihar offer low-interest student credit cards. All of this ensures that your financial background doesn't have to dictate your medical future. Finally, let's dive into Section 4, Daily Work and Growth. I want you to picture your actual day-to-day reality in this field. The work is incredibly structured, and yeah, it's demanding. You're likely going to be working a 9 to 10-hour day, 6 days a week. It's primarily a desk and clinic-based job, so you won't be traveling locally all that much, but you will be responsible for managing an entire team of nurses and other medical staff.
Shift systems are super common in hospitals, which means your ability to lead a team and maintain laser focus during long hours is just as important as your actual surgical skills.
The great news here is you have a massive variety of locations to study and eventually work. For your education, you might target prestigious government institutes like AIMS in Delhi or the University of Rajasthan, or maybe top-tier private institutes like CMC Vellore and Kasturba Medical College. Once you graduate, your workplace could be anything from a fast-paced hospital to a quiet nursing home or even a cutting-edge research institute. And perhaps the most exciting prospect for a lot of people, entrepreneurship. You have the full capability to set up your own private practice, run the whole show, and basically be your own boss. To anchor this abstract roadmap in reality, let's look at an awesome example from the field. Dr. Alpa Patel-Nisarta followed this exact sequential path we've been talking about. She completed her MBBS, pushed forward into specialized studies focusing on cornea and refractive surgery, crushed her fellowship, and ultimately became the director of Adichia Eye and Children Hospital. I love this because it proves that this roadmap isn't just theory on a screen. It's a proven path to the absolute pinnacle of healthcare leadership. But, you don't just become a director overnight. The growth path is a literal ladder. You start out as an intern, grinding away and learning the ropes. Then you progress to a junior doctor, and then to a fully qualified ophthalmologist. With years of successful surgeries and top-notch patient care, you level up to a senior ophthalmologist. From there, the major leadership roles start opening up: head of the department, and ultimately a medical director or superintendent. Every single day of studying and every entrance exam you passed pushes you one rung higher up this ladder. So, knowing the immense dedication required, the financial hurdles you might face, and ultimately the profound power you'll have to quite literally restore human sight and change lives every single day, the ultimate question remains: do you have the scientific curiosity and the meticulous grit to take that very first step on this rewarding decade-long journey? The roadmap is drawn. Will you walk it? Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep exploring.